Right, hello guys, I'm back to the channel. I've been quiet for some days. I've been preoccupied by some stuff. I've been working on my thesis prospectus. So I'm back to the channel and I'm back for you guys. I'm so excited. Today, just to start, I'm going to make this video real short and I'm going to do this real quick. I'm just talking about the name Zimbabwe, where it came from and how it came to be. I saw one video by one uncle saying he was talking about the languages in Zimbabwe, though I'm not really sure of how he defines the term language, because in the next video I'll talk about why it is problematic to regard Shona as a language. It's rather a linguistic identity and not a language. Right. So here I'm talking about Zimbabwe. What does the name Zimbabwe mean? He was saying that Zimbabwe is a Zulu term which means, or which was used to refer to the king's burial places, which is really problematic, because Zimbabwe, it's a three-party word. The ZI, it's from Mpanda 21, which is for something that is big. We say Zimbudze Zimono. So the ZI is a prefix for something that is big. Mba, it's a stem word from Imba, Mumba, meaning a house. Then Bre, the BWE, it's a prefix for a stone. It's a Karanga prefix. The Karanga people, they say Ibre. Ibre. So if you look at it, just on the surface, if you look at Zimbabwe, it's a Karanga term to refer to the big house of stone. So now, trying to break it down or to get a little bit deep with Zimbabwe, it meant, or it's a term that means a big house of stone which were built as residence for the kings and not the burial places. If we look at Great Zimbabwe, if we look at all other, we have more than 300 Zimbabwe type sites or dry stone structures in the Zimbabwean plateau. If you look at them and you want to look at the use of space in these Zimbabwe sites, there are no burial sites within the walls or surrounding the walls. At Great Zimbabwe, you actually move for about 5 kilometers to the eastern side. That's where the suspected burial places are currently, because archaeologists haven't really excavated the Great Zimbabwe burials, but the suspected areas, it's about 3 to 5 kilometers to the east. So the burial places were never within or around the Zimbabwean dry stone walls. So we cannot say Zimbabwe meant the burial places of the kings, as Anglo Saint claimed. So having said that, what then does Zimbabwe mean, or how did the name came to be? It is known historically that the term was coined by the Karanga people, because if you look at Great Zimbabwe, why am I giving reference to Great Zimbabwe? We know that Great Zimbabwe is the first farming community in the Zimbabwean land, or the first Iron Age. I do not prefer to use the term Iron Age, which is more derogatory than farming community. So I use farming community instead of Iron Age society. So Great Zimbabwe is the first farming community in the Zimbabwean plateau, or in the Zimbabwean land. And if we are to look at the historiography of Great Zimbabwe as a state, it started to exist from 10,000 AD up to 16,000 AD. And from 10,000 to 11,000, there are what we call the Gumanye, Gokomere, and Jizo communities. These communities didn't practice dry stone walling, or they were not yet building the structures. But when we start to see the building of the stone structure around the 12,000 ADs, that's where we see the Karanga pottery. So why am I explaining the pottery? We know the chronology of Great Zimbabwe because of carbon dating and carbon dating of the pottery wares, or the pottery vessels which these people were using. So if the dry stone walling corresponds to the Karanga pottery, which is of the Karanga people, it then makes sense to align the term Zimbabwe to the Karanga people. That's the point I wanted to drive to. So having established that the dry stone structures were first built by the Karanga people, who used the term Zimbabwe or the term Zimbabwe rather, by then it was Zimbabwe, to refer to the dry stone structures. How then did this term become formalized to be used for the whole nation of Zimbabwe? It is within the year 1960 when one Michael Mawema, a nationalist, a revolutionarist, actually with a team which was known as Zimbabwe National Party, they gathered and made a deliberation, or they wanted to come up with a name to refer to the nation. We know in 1960 it was during the Chimrenga War, it was during the liberation struggle. So these are some of our liberators, the nationalists, or the armed forces, the guerrillas, right? You understand the Chimrenga War. And this Mawere was actually, maybe his history is not that common, but he's actually one of the first guys. If you look up, there is an interview which was done by Edson Zobgo in 2001. He clearly talks or narrates the history of this guy. He was born in Gutu. His academic training was around Morgenstern. This is a guy from Masvingo as well, but he was a revolutionist. And in 1960, they gathered and deliberated. Some of the names which were proposed in that meeting are like Munumtapa, Mwenemtapa Empire, and Zimbabwe got to be formalized, or it was accepted during that meeting in 1960 with this party, the Zimbabwe National Party. And its formal use is from 1961, during the liberation struggle. And when Zimbabwe attained its independence, it was a consensus between the ZANLA forces and the ZAPU, which then joined up to form ZANU-PF in 1980, and they then adopted the name Zimbabwe. So this is somewhat a chronology of how Zimbabwe became in use, or how it became formalized. So basically, this is what I wanted to clear, as in how the term Zimbabwe came to be and how it was formalized or nationalized. I thank you guys. Consider subscribing and pressing the notification bell so that you can be notified whenever I do a video. Puro the Archaeologist, I'm out.